Hello, my Bill 4000 Nation. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully, everyone's having a great day. If not, I hope it gets better from here. We are back with another That Chapter. This one was titled Narcissistic Killer's Interrogation Makes Detective Snap. Man, we have watched a lot of videos where the detectives have interrogated people and got like really angry. I don't think we've actually seen one where they've snapped. Oh, I'm running my mouth all through this one. This is going to be fun as shit. Alright. If y'all are ready as I am, go ahead. Turn them lights down low. Put on something comfy, curl up with someone special. Let's get a little riled up. This sounds like it's going to be a fun... Yeah.
Hey you, and welcome. My name's Mike, and in this old video, it is Canada, it's Kevin, and it's Killer time. The subject of today's video is just one of those lads who's just so loathsome. You'll see what I mean at the end of the video. If you don't agree, check yourself. That's all I can say. See, this guy had one bright idea in a life full of not so bright ones, and it was the worst bright idea you will ever hear. And you know what, folks? When it's dark outside, which I imagine it is in Canada for, like, most of the entire year, there's nothing better old Mike likes than a cup of hot cocoa, you know what I mean? If that sounds like your cup of dream, then let's talk about Beam, who are sponsoring this old video. Dream Powder is specifically formulated to help you get your best night's sleep. And as a company ran by former professional athletes, guess what? Sleep is important to function well. Who could have guessed? A cup of Dream is a pretty good way to say goodbye to the day. It comes in...
See, my problem isn't getting to sleep. I don't sleep long. I only sleep like 4 hours to maybe 5 hours a night. I can't sleep more than that. I don't know why. I've been like that my whole life, though. Now, if I'm sick, no, I'm done. I'll wake up to go use the bathroom. That's about it. But on a everyday, day-to-day basis, waking up in the morning, I'll go to bed at like 11:30, 12 o'clock, and I'm up by 5. Like, I wake up about 4:38, and then, I lay in bed, get woke up, go through my emails and all that good shit, and then I start the day. I've always been like that. It's weird. I don't think I know what to do if I actually got more than like 5 hours of sleep at night.
Many different flavors. Honestly, I'd probably drink it all day, but, well, I do need to be awake sometimes. There's no added sugar, it's only 15 calories, it's free of all the stuff you don't want, and it is clinically proven to give you the very best night's sleep ever. All you need, 1 to 2 scoops, water or milk, and the next day your skin be better, your mind be better, you be better. But you can't get any better, because you're great. It helps reduce stress, improves reaction time, your immune system, and gives you the boosts you need by helping you get some good old-fashioned Z's.
You can mix it with milk. I love milk. I could drink milk all day, bruh. Well, no, I couldn't. I'm lactose intolerant. I can drink lactate all day, though. That shit's pretty good.
Personally, I'm a huge fan. I tend to sleep really badly because guess what? I'm always thinking about new videos I want to make for you about weird murders and true crime and all the sort of stuff I talk about. There's just so much stuff to cover. It's probably not a good thing. But with Dream, I get hella good sleep so I can get back to making them. And as it is...
He's right. There's so much fucked in the world. Oh, God. Thanks, Mike. I mean, I really hadn't sat down and... I don't know, sometimes I'm just stupid and naive, I guess. I hadn't really sat down and was like... had thought about it. Some of these stories do cross over onto the channels, but 9 times out of 10, they're different stories. It's just a lot of fucked in the world, people. Damn nation.
The holidays, Beam is having a hell of a sale. Follow the exclusive link in the description to shop Beam's incredible sale and get up to 40% off for a limited time. Discount applied at checkout. Once again, please click the link below to get up to 40% off for a limited time. Let's give it a go. The Ottawa Civic Hospital lies just to the southwest of the heart of the city, and it was there in the early morning hours of the 29th of December 2009 that RCMP Constable Eric Chapnick was sitting in his cruiser outside the emergency bay of that hospital. See, he needed to write up, a few little notes, scribbling away in his little notepad about an incident he had just responded to before heading back out on duty with Ninas and all that. It was a very cold, dark night right in the middle of December, so not many people around, and who could blame them? And that is what made what happened all the more shocking. As Eric was sitting in his car, doing his thing, looking at his watch, waiting for third shift to end, out of nowhere, a man lunged at him with a knife, stabbing the ever-living shit out of Eric. Before he even knew what happened, Eric, in this frenzied attack, stabbed multiple times. He hadn't even time to defend himself as the knife went in and in and in again.
What the fuck?
After witnessing this frenzied attack, several paramedics who'd been standing nearby ran over and briefed this guy of Constable Eric, pinning him to the ground and calling 911. They also began working on Constable Eric Chapnick, who managed to run into the building. Now, Constable Eric Chapnick had been stabbed in both sides of his neck, and the damage was absolutely catastrophic. Despite all the responders throwing themselves into the attempt to save his life, Eric's wounds were just too severe, and he died shortly afterward.
Damn.
Two things were equally as shocking as what happened to Eric. One was that the attacker himself was a former RCMP officer. The other thing that was as shocking was the motive for why he attacked Eric in the first place.
Oh,
I hear you barking, big dogs. What led to this?
Yes.
Let's see.
What did it?
On the 30th of August 1966, it all began with the birth of Kevin Reed Gregson. Although he actually wasn't called Gregson when
he says we're going back to the beginning, he really means back to the beginning anymore, don't he? Damn nation. His father's semen was swimming up the stream so well. It was like watching the salmon. And then it collided. And there he was, born in all of his birthiness.
Popped out, as he had been adopted at just 2 days old by Reed and Faye, aka the Gregsons of Ottawa. Now, importantly, Reed and Faye were not given any information on Kevin and his background, other than he'd been born on a reserve and had Métis heritage. Now, from his early years, Kevin, it was one of those there's something wrong with Kevin type situations. He began to exhibit some very worrying behavior. Like, he enjoyed shooting small animals. He would oftentimes just fly off the handle. He had a very hard time controlling.
Okay, when we say he enjoyed shooting small animals, are we meaning it like in Norman Bates type way, or are we talking like he just likes to go hunting with his dad? I'm hoping it's the latter, but I have a feeling it's the first. Or it wouldn't be on this channel, would it?
His emotions, specifically the emotion called anger. These incidents would get sometimes so bad, his mother would lock Kevin into the garage out of fear he would hurt someone else or himself. She had thrown away the key. He would run away from home. He'd get into physical fights with his parents. At one point, he even got so bad, they chucked him out and he had to go to child welfare, social services had to get involved, and after a couple of months, the Gregsons took him back. Probably, were like, doesn't seem like a good idea. They were right.
Son of a bitch. That's awful.
I don't have any friends. At all. And I don't need friends. Because my dad's like that. He once told me, he says, you know what? You have friends, you gotta go and be nice and do things to be acceptable to them. So if you do your own thing, you can do your own thing. You don't have to worry about it. And I have picked up that philosophy.
Now, Kevin was raised in the Church of
I felt kind of bad for you, homie. Like, having friends to help and to help you and to lean on in times of, leaning. Like, I don't know. It's not a bad thing. What? That's crazy.
Latter-day Saints, and he continued his little bad boy behavior with them too, stealing items, TVs from churches and all that kind of stuff, which led to his initial run-ins with the law. However, Kevin actually undertook a 2-year-long mission for the church between 1988 and 1990, and he apparently took his duties on behalf of the church very seriously. Yet several of his colleagues noted that he could be very difficult to deal with and seemed like a bit of a bully, that being a label that would come up time and time again in relation to Kevin.
Look, the thing about me, the way at my work, how they describe me is I'm very brutally honest and I'm awkward. Because like I don't get up and I don't try and I don't pass the buck. I don't.
That's exactly
point
what
the
you're
finger.
doing.
No, I'm not.
You think that somehow this whole event is acceptable because you
It's
were only
not
trying to
acceptable.
find a gun to kill yourself.
Now, after his time as a missionary, Kevin actually got one of them jobs. He began working as an orderly at the Royal Ottawa Mental Health Centre, which it's kind of ironic. Is that ironic or not? That Morissette song really screwed me up. But Kevin's dream was to go on and become a cop. But not only was Kevin's own personality standing in the way, his actual earlier run-in with the law when he robbed the church, that kind of stood in his way too. You see, Kevin's conviction for the church theft at age 19 meant that he was ineligible to join the police force, and so his only hope was to wait until 10 years had passed since the conviction and then petition the court for a pardon and have his record sealed. However, luck was with Kevin's side on this one, and he did manage to get over this hurdle to his own law enforcement career, and Kevin
Yay.
attended and graduated from the RCMP Academy, Depot Division, on the 4th of August, 1980.
I mean, yay. Maybe his shit should have never been like sealed. Damn.
Now, credit where credit's due, he wasn't always the worst. Just like a lot of the times he was the worst. But he once got a citation for bravery after he disarmed an armed man in Saskatchewan. So it's like, alright. Fair dues. Big balls, but you know, used in the worst way. Sadly though,
Big
Kevin
balls,
kind of
little
peaked
brain.
a little bit too early, because only 4 years after getting a wee medal, in 2006, he kind of got into a few little argy-bargies with his superiors. And they were like, there's the door. He would be suspended from
Don't let the door hit you or the good Lord split you, son. Have a good one.
the force. And it was during that period that Kevin finally snapped. Kevin Gregson is the definition of narcissistic personality, of arrogance, of a person who wanted attention. And all that combined with his lack of morality made for a pretty shite mix. Everyone was wrong except Kevin, of course. That was how he viewed the world and everything in it. And so he continued to butt heads in the RCMP. He saw himself as a hero, completely delusional, failing to notice that he had zero positive qualities at all. What were those run-ins, you ask? Kevin, you see, was in the process of renewing his Temple Recommended to essentially be a member of his church. You can't even enter them if you're not Temple Recommended. Well, see, to do that, you have to do some interviews with the bishop, and Kevin, well, during one of those interviews with the bishop, he whipped out a knife and said this: "You don't know how many ways I've been taught to kill a man. I would rather fight you with this knife than with a pistol. I can take someone out much faster with this than any other way." Nice. Badass. So we got in a lot of trouble for that because the bishop promptly reported him. Other than that though, other officers would say he's a real bully, he's a real asshole, and Kevin himself didn't keep these thoughts himself. He would refuse to work with others, saying they were beneath him. An RCMP internal threat assessment on Gregson from 2007 found Gregson was on the verge of harming someone. Reports were written on him that he was essentially a child who would throw a tantrum when he heard an N-O. It actually took some time. It wasn't until 2008 that Kevin was finally kind of pushed out. But see, what they do is they don't just sack you, they don't just fire you. They kind of make your life suck so much and your job so shite that you're like, you know, you quit. Essentially, rather than them firing you, which is...
I mean, that's kind of bullshit, man. Just balls up and be like, no, dude, you're fucking out, bruh. You gotta look at it differently whenever you're in charge. You can't be scared of hurting someone's feelings or any of that at all. if you are, you're not going to make it very long. Sometimes you just got to cut your losses and hope there's no hard feelings.
Pretty shitty. Now, Kevin, see, was appealing, though, his suspension and all that, and you know what his master plan to win his job back was? You're gonna love this. He worked with his mother, to bake a whole load of cookies, right? And then he went to the police chief's house with his mother and a big old tray of cookies and said, "Give me my job back, here you go." He literally tried a cookie bribe to, like, the head of the RCMP.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say this. What kind of cookies was they? Like, if they some white chocolate macadamia, motherfucker getting his job back, bro. Like, then I'm sorry. Like, you bring me a platter full of cookies, homie, you got your job back and a raise. Matter of fact, we're going to hire your mom to bake cookies every fucking day, too. She got a job as well. I love cookies.
If you can believe it, it did not work. That gave Kevin one of them brand new suspensions, and in early 2009, he was given the ultimatum: resign or be dismissed. Kevin decided to fight this once again.
That I could die and leave at any time. And this has been going on since 2005. And that's what's kept me going. So I've been suicidal for 5 freaking years. So for me, it's no big deal. It sucks to be me. So just things like that. And it was just getting to me. Then they took my pay.
That was this summer, right?
No, that was, they kept it going until November. Then they took it. But the thing they did wrong was they tied it into the panel, which they can't do, and that screwed themselves.
Okay.
Plus, when they took it...
So why? So there's my point. That's my point.
Yeah.
So you said they can't do this, and you've appealed this stuff. So why, at this juncture, do you decide, well, Kevin Gregson's checking out? Why? What now? I don't get it. I really don't.
Because I have $30.
Because you have a beautiful son. You have a wife that stood by you to this point. You have children out west that'll always stand by you.
No, they won't.
And you have your church or your religion.
Is a joke.
Your religion.
It's just time. I had enough.
With his work life falling apart.
It's actually really hard to just sit here and listen to. Wow. Knowing he's got all that and he'd leave all that behind, he's just had enough. Like, it's almost heartbreaking. Even knowing what he's done, it's literally like my heart's breaking over. Like, damn, someone needs to give this motherfucker a hug. Like he needs a hug, like right now. Maybe even like a little pinky in the butthole or something, but someone needs to put a smile on that motherfucker's face. Like, he's having a hard day, bro. Get him a lollipop and a milkshake.
True, no one's fault but his own. Something in Kevin that had up until now been holding back his worst tendencies gave away, and years of pent-up frustrations spilled over. And it will come out that during this time in 2009, late 2009, he'd been molesting a 10-year-old girl 4 times over a period of a few days, and had been collecting pornos of the, well, you know, kind. This guy gets better and better! Well, you know what? Some women thought so, because I should mention that during all of this, Kevin had been married and divorced 3 times. 3 whole times. If Kevin can get married to 3 different women, there truly is hope for us all. Of course, none would last due to Kevin's narcissism and psychopathy, leading to very unhappy marriages, full of abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, verbal abuse, you name it. Pick a word, put abuse after it, you got it, right? He was completely unsuited towards family life and marriage.
And I've done
the allegation against you is that you took somebody's life. Yeah. We're on opposite sides of the table. We still do the same thing. They obviously hired us for the same reason.
Yeah. So, whatever.
I just don't know how you get to the conclusion.
To me, all people are bad. That's it.
That's problematic for me.
Well, yeah, I know, but that's how I view it. I look at everybody and they're all bad, and that's it. And they sometimes exhibit a bit of good, but for the most part they're bad. And that's it. And that's being human.
Well, that's glass half empty. It's not human. It's glass half empty. You choose to do that. That's not necessarily true.
So with him being just a rancid sack of shit, him losing his job, and also having numerous mental health problems, things blew up on December 29th, 2009 outside of a hospital. He lunged at Constable Chapnick, they fought, Chapnick got away, but would lose his life.
The guy's dead. It's like, oh, holy shit. It's like, oh no. Okay.
Like you said downstairs, the drama's over.
Yeah, it is over. I'm not gonna get upset. It's done. I tried to die and I couldn't die. I can't die.
It's not about you.
I know it's not about me, but I'm just saying.
It stopped being about you when he took his life.
Yeah, and I'm just saying.
In the execution of his duty. That's where we need to get straight here.
Saying is that I'm not gonna go and cause trouble. I'm just gonna.
What trouble could you cause?
With these boys? Could they all walk around me and they're getting ready to describe me in case I go nuts or something? The nuts part is all done. It is done. I tried to take my life and it didn't work. So now
but you keep talking about you. Keep talking about you.
Of course, I'm going to talk about me.
However, after he grabbed a knife and went to Chapnick, and he was pinned down and...
I mean, I get where they're both coming from. I definitely get where the detective's coming from. Like, you killed his partner. Like, even if they wasn't like partners, like you killed his brother in arms. Like that's tough. That's rough. But I also get where the other dude is coming from too. He's like, man, I tried to die, like, and I did. And like, here I am. He died. I lived. I was wanting to die. Like, I'm a cockroach. I mean, I see where he's coming from. Like, he's narcissistic. Like, it's all about him. He probably doesn't even really feel remorse. He's just like, he probably did something bad and deserved it. Like, he probably ran over a puppy dog whenever he was 13 years old and it never walked right. So fuck him. You know what I mean? Like, that's, you can't look at shit like that. Like, if everyone in the world was judged for the shit that they had done or could potentially done, we'd all be a bunch of judgy ass motherfuckers. Only thing you can do is judge someone by their actions and what they are trying to do now. Everyone has a past. Everyone's got a dirty. You know what I mean? He's like, I don't try to kill myself though. I'm magic. I can't die. So, you know, I feel bad for the people in prison. I feel bad for his butthole.
Restrained doctors who had failed to save Chapnick's life were forced. Got a freaking Hippocratic oath, man. They then had to work on Kevin Gregson because he, I don't know what the best way to say this is, but he kind of sorta tried to take his own life. And I really do mean that, because he did have stab wounds around his neck, but the wounds Kevin did to himself were like, here's a microphone cover from the podcast, this. That's about as much damage as he did. They were mostly superficial lacerations.
That I'm just tough, I'm physically fit. So, and even with these cutting my throat, I got in there good and deep. I was working it. And the doctor said that the arteries they move around.
Well, I think that's a natural reflex for them to try to move out of the way.
But I got in there good. I was like zigzagging it, and it just still didn't work. Damn it. Oh well.
His story was that he wanted to end his own life so badly that before he went to the hospital, while at home, he tried to cut his own throat open.
When you hurt yourself, or when you cut your neck the first time, you said you did it 3 times today?
Oh, I did 6. I did 3 on one side. I just dug it in.
Yeah.
Nope. And then, because it's supposed to work.
But did you have it bandaged up when you went to the hospital?
Yeah, because I was bleeding everywhere.
So where'd you get the bandaging?
At my house.
Oh, okay.
I just got some band-aids, put them on it.
Okay.
That's all. Then I put another on top of it because like I'd get dressed and then all of a sudden down my front and be like, gross.
As he says himself, on both sides, but he was too strong and it did not work. I think he probably could have done more damage to himself with a nail clippers than whatever he allegedly tried to do. One of the paramedics who had tackled Gregson and tried to save Chapnick later said Gregson had told them, it didn't have to end this way. All he had to do was give me his gun.
I'm freakishly strong.
No, I am. You think quite highly of yourself.
I am. I have lots of experience in restraint. It's no big deal.
So how did paramedic wrestle you to the ground and keep you there if you're so strong?
Because I didn't. Once he took me down, I stopped. It was done.
This guy really does just suck so bad. While he was awaiting treatment in hospital, Kevin remarked to one of the arresting
Got a fucking answer for everything, though, don't he? Philadelphia, lawyer style. Fuck it.
officers that he thought city cops were tough and that he'd come to the hospital looking for a fight.
And I'm trained to take life. That's my specialization. And I can't believe the stupid knife.
Well, you continue to say your specialization. You didn't learn that as a police officer.
Yeah, I did.
Because I've never learned that. I've been a police officer longer than you.
They're not like us. We're the Mounties.
Constable Eric Chapnick, who was also known to friends as Pickles, because he loved pickles, so. He was very much in the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, Chapnick was actually from Poland. He'd been born in Poland. He'd been in the Polish army before eventually emigrating to Canada, and while he was in Canada, he decided to change up careers, and he joined the Ottawa police force. He actually joined at 48 years old, if you can believe that. And he'd only been on the police force 3 years. He was 51 when he was brutally murdered by Kevin Gregson. He was the first officer to be killed in the line of duty in Ottawa since 1977. And Eric's last words to the paramedics trying to save his life were simply, "Thank you."
Do you feel sorry? What happened?
Oh, absolutely. There's nothing I can do. Nothing can be done. Like you said, you can't take back.
Well, there is. You could say sorry.
Are you? Well, to who?
Somebody will be watching this someday.
Yeah, I know. They're not gonna. Watch this. His kids. Oh my gosh, he has kids.
How do you know?
Because Thompson told me. No, some other guy. He says, "You're a, what do you say? You sack of shit." He has 2 kids. No, sorry. The story doesn't cut it. So
You might want to try it. No? You have the opportunity right now to look up at the camera and tell that widow and those children
you said
that
they're
you're
not going
sorry.
to watch it.
Oh, they'll be watching. I said everyone's going to watch this at some point.
Yeah, even my people at the RCMP. How embarrassing.
Everyone's going to watch. It's embarrassing. You think this is embarrassing?
Yeah.
That's all you can think of. This is going to be embarrassing.
What the fuck?
He went from flat foot to, it's going to be embarrassing.
No.
Kevin's defense at his trial in February 2012 was to claim that the whole attack had been an elaborate attempt to take his own life. He was hoping Eric would shoot him dead. Easier ways than that, pal. Now, any notion that Kevin wanted to take his own life, there's this one thing which kind of like throws cold water on that, which is if you were going to do that, to, go at a cop in the hope that they would kill you, why would you wear a body armor? Why would you wear body armor? Because Kevin was wearing body armor. Not 1, but 2. He was wearing 2 bulletproof vests and then decided to sneak attack a cop in the hopes that the cop was John Wick.
You're wearing 2 bulletproof vests, Kevin.
No, you're wanting me to give you a statement again.
Well, I'm trying to understand, Kevin. And I'm sure everybody is. There's probably at least 800,000 people in this city who are trying to understand.
Yeah.
And there'll be probably hundreds of thousands of people in a couple days trying to understand.
Millions.
And this is your time to make them understand, or to let them understand what happened.
Kevin's defense made little sense, and if we're honest, never stood a chance of being successful. But then I think he knew that, and it was never the point to try and be found not guilty. He just wanted to have a trial and have all the focus and attention on him. Naturally, he was found guilty. It was never going to end any other way, as the witnesses and evidence were insanely overwhelming.
Right.
Gregson has pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder. Today, the defense and Crown lawyers gave their final argument.
Gregson has now admitted in open court he killed Chapnick, But the defense case is centered on Gregson's intent. Gregson told the jury that when he attacked Chapnick outside the civic campus of the Ottawa Hospital, he wanted Chapnick's gun so he could kill himself at home. The same argument he made to police officers soon after his arrest. He aggrandizes he's insensitive, he's a bully. Nevertheless, he stood in court and told you he didn't intend to murder Eric Chapnick. But the Crown's Brian Holoka reminded jurors Gregson showed up with 2 bulletproof vests, handcuffs, and an RCMP knife. When he stabbed Chapnick, his blows were lethal, not defensive.
And it was shortly before Kevin's sentencing for the brutal murder of Constable Chapnick that his other crimes came out, namely his 4 sexual assaults on a 10-year-old girl.
The victim tried to read this victim impact statement, but broke down crying. In it, she says that she forgives Gregson for what he did, but she also asks him to say he's sorry. Gregson also addressed the court, but he did not apologize to the girl. Instead, in a short, rambling address, he said he never murdered Chapnick and that he had dreamed about this day when he was 20.
That crime would result in Kevin Gregson being found guilty and convicted of 4 counts of sexual assault and 4 counts of sexual interference with a minor. He got 10 years for that.
Sexual interference with what? That's a weird way of putting it. Yeah, that's okay.
Now, it's quite likely the inciting incident for why Kevin tried to murder Chapnick was that his wife was confronting him about the sexual assaults. She knew that he had been, raping a child. She knew about it, and in fact, she confronted him on December 28th, the day before he murdered Chapnick. I think it was his dark secret coming out, which led to him wanting to kill. Because he was going to kill to cover up. He would commit a worse crime to cover up. I mean, I don't know if it's a worse crime. Pretty freaking on par. It was a whole load of shite to cover up whatever shite this shite bag was doing.
I mean, only reason why it would be a worse crime is because murder's final. But the other one stays with you for life until you die. Only reason why murder is worse is because, you're dead. Dead.
And so Kevin Gregson still sits in prison today, probably not having a really good time, although I think he deserves that.
Oh, I hope he's having a grand old time.
We ever hear of him or his bitching and moaning in the interrogation room.
I hope his butthole's so big they can hold the Grand Ole Opry in the damn thing. Son of a bitch.
Thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot to me. I hope you enjoyed the video.
Thank you so much for having me, Mike. As always, it's so nice to be here. I love it when you invite me here. Thanks, man. And it means so much to me too, bud. You special fucker, you. Alright, I really enjoyed today's video. If y'all enjoyed today's video as much as I did, please go down there, hit that thumbs up. While you're down there, go over, smack that subscribe button, become part of the Built by 1000 Nation. We do some crazy shit here. And if you want to know when that crazy shit happens, ding that bell. It might work for you. It probably won't, but if it does, jump in on one of my premieres. Jump in on one of my premieres. There we go. Get over in the live chat. Hit me up, be like, hey, Bill, it worked. Leave a like, dip. That's all you gotta do. I wouldn't ask for no more than that. Now, if you do want to do a little more, the link is in the description. Go check out the store. Got some amazing merch, and you can't tell me otherwise unless you check it out for yourself. As always, be good to one another. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. That whole story was just straight fuckered.